All right. So we have nine of us here today. John Parsons graciously offered to do a showcase. What do you want to talk on?
Well, as I think I said a couple of meetings ago, our little video production studio has started to do something that makes sense because I'm also a ghostwriter and I have lots of publishing contacts. We're starting to do book trailers for some self-published authors. Amplify, the publisher I work, the hybrid publisher I work with a lot, has started to hire us on a regular basis to do these 1 minute, minute and a half book trailers for the launch of a particular book, or the social media, or for social media sites, for wherever it is they need the content. Book trailers, we researched it, can go from anywhere to DIY for a couple $100 and they look like fancy PowerPoints, all the way up to 10K if you go to a big studio and have it done the full everything. But it's still a minute and a half of video. And so we came up with a price point that was very acceptable to Amplify and to other authors, that's on the lower end of the range, partly because we do our video capture remotely. We do voice and video capture without leaving Seattle, just using people's webcams, etc. So I have 3 samples. I want to do a show and tell of what we did, and they range. So I'm going to share my screen. And I have to make sure that you can hear the sound.
Yeah.
And optimize video clip. Are those two the right ones?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. And you are on the clock already, but you
I know. I saw. I'm well aware. So I'm going to share the first one. This is an inspirational autobiography by a woman who had a terrible time in her challenges in her academic career and how she overcame them.
I was born in Greece, in a land with a rich history and a culture of strong women. Though we had little means, I was blessed with a gift, a love of numbers. My dreams for a better life launched me on an odyssey that carried me away from my own place and my own people to a place of learning. Full of idealism, I pursued engineering. Those were years of discipline and hard work. But they were also years of intimidation and self-doubt. I experienced strife, resistance, and criticism that women often experience in careers dominated by men. I believed that telling the truth, following the rules, and working hard was a recipe for success. But my experience in academia proved that was not always the case. The higher I was climbing, the higher the pushback. Intense challenges and populist journalism brought me to a defining moment. My family and my Greek pride refocused me on my odyssey to find higher ground and a path to happiness. Read about my odyssey in my book, Higher Ground.
Well, that looks amazing.
Yeah.
That's really good, John. Well done. Well done. Kudos, props.
Now the next one, it was pure fun. A friend
How
of
much
mine,
can you tell us what you charge for that one?
that was we charge around 2,000.
Wow. Yeah, and you don't need video of her. You just have her audio.
We didn't, and that's the beauty of it, because we can use stock, which we did here. The music was an amazing find because she said, I really like such and such a composer. So on the off chance that he would be open to it, I emailed the composer who did that piece, and if he emailed me back personally and negotiated like $100 for the rights, and I went, wow, that's amazing. But the next one, find it, was
so John.
fun. Yes.
I heard you say something about the videos being a couple $100. Did I mishear you?
No. The rights to the music track were $100.
No, he said earlier that you could do a sort of a trailer at the range from a couple hundred.
If you do it yourself, there are template forms and little like Canva like templates that you can use. But it really turns out to be very mishy, the same all over. It you don't stand out if you do it that way. But it's, you get what you pay for. It's basically it. But this one,
John, if I heard you correctly, it was 2,000 for that one.
That's correct.
Okay.
Anywhere between 2,000 and 2,500, depending on the amount of stuff that has to go into it, like animation. But this one was pure fun. A person who does voiceover work for us is also a mystery writer, and he has his own publishing house. He's self-published, and he's coming up with a new series in a murder mystery series that this is the third of his series. So we had a ton of fun doing this one, and I'll just play it.
Sean O'Farrell Investigations.
O'Farrell? Jack Warner here from Warner Brothers Studios in Hollywood. Listen, I'm in San Francisco. We just had a movie prop stolen, and I need it found in 3 days.
What is it I'm looking for, Mr. Warner?
The Maltese Falcon.
From mystery author Mark J. McCracken comes the next exciting edition of the Sean O'Farrell Mystery Series. The Maltese Falcon Murders. All right, O'Farrell, you found the body. What happened? Looking at the bullet in his forehead, I'd say he got shot. She said she was looking for her missing brother. She was looking for something, all right. She was looking for trouble. I needed a dame like her, like I needed another bullet wound. But she knew something about the Falcon. FBI, Special Agent Dunderbeck.
Dave, Sean O'Farrell. I was wondering if you could help me handle a small problem.
Sure, Sean. What kind of small problem?
2 dead Nazis in an elevator at the St. Francis Hotel. One has a knife in his eye.
Thanks for calling, Sean. Always appreciated.
Listen, O'Farrell, you better find and deliver what Chicago's asking for, or they'll find your body floating under the Golden Gate.
Thanks, D'Angelo. You're a real sweetheart. You really know how to motivate a guy. As an attorney representing my client, I'm merely delivering a friendly message of warning, Mr. O'Farrell. I would not be amused if some harm were to come your way. I'd be amused to watch you blow your nose through a third nostril mouthpiece. The Maltese Falcon.
So how much was that? That was awesome, by the way.
About the same.
Okay.
They all end up in being about that range for a 60-second. This was longer, but we had a break because Mark did all the voiceovers, and he basically wrote the script with our help. So it balanced, and we used a lot of stock imagery, and the movie The Maltese Falcon is public domain, so we could steal from that.
Oops. That was going to be my question: was the rights to the image of Bogart stuff.
So do you want to, I know of at least one book promoter. Is that sort of target for you?
Book promoters? Yeah, that's perfect. That's exactly what we're looking for agencies and book publicists and independent publishers or hybrid publishers is perfect for us.
Okay. Yeah, John, I can make an introduction in that space as well. One of my business partners, does that.
Yeah, and it's all part of the funnel, because half of publishing, self or otherwise, is that conventional publishers do nothing to almost nothing to publicize a book. They throw out a press release and that's about it. So the platform, people who follow you and want to read your book, that's all on you or your publicist. So this is content to help with that regard. So I'm going to share one more. This is a little bit less. Hold on.
And do you have an example of like that couple $100 version? So we can like
no we don't do the $100 version. We don't. That's for doing it on your own.
Got it. Saying that was the range of what it costs to do this sort of thing. Anyway,
I was giving a general
to
range.
10,000.
We also don't sell videos for 10K because that's
right.
We're not after the major publishers. We're after independents. This one was more of the typical business book. And Bill Radishell has actually, we're doing another one for him because he knew Bill Gates and all these tech entrepreneurs. He's written about that. We're doing his next one, but this is about what technology is doing to society. So I'll just play it.
Digital technology. Over the past 50 years, it has spurred exponential growth in our economy and in daily life. Vast fortunes have been made and our quality of life has improved. But today's technology also divides us, and it does so with ever-increasing speed. Ask yourself, how has technology impacted our lives? How has it changed our society? Has it brought us together or pulled us apart? I believe technology has made our society more divided, more fragile, and more unequal. It's not one big problem. It's a lot of little ones that all add up. Our unconscious acceptance of the status quo needs to end. We do have choices. We can start putting the pieces back together. It's in our power to limit the negative effects of technology and to limit its economic influence over our lives. My new book, The New Technology State, will help you understand the real.
Yeah, we got a little buffering problem.
Yeah.
I'm just going to, but that's pretty much the end. Yeah. That's pretty much the end. And then the call to action is the type. Depending on the platform they use, they can add a call to action button if it's in Vimeo, that kind of thing. We're doing
What
one
about
now.
other ghostwriters? Is that a target for you?
That's a big issue. A lot of them are budget conscious, so it's hard to even come up with 2K.
Really? Okay.
But and some people are skeptical because they want to know exactly how many more copies they're going to sell with it, and nobody knows that. But if you have, what we do is we this next one we're doing is a 90-second one and then a 30-second version of that one, so they can start peppering LinkedIn, which is the author's main market, and start getting the message through. And he has it's another Amplify title, and he's got Amplify that he pays to do some of this work on social media. But that's
Hey, John.
Yeah.
Who have you gone after so far to sell these projects?
Right now, we're going. Specifically, I have several book coach / promoters that I'm talking to. There's several hybrid publishers that I'm in conversation with. I have a short list of entrepreneurial book promoters that I'm talking with. But right now, Amplify is my chief source right now today, because I've ghostwritten so many books for them and edited.
So that's a publisher. Amplify.
The Amplify publisher has 4 imprints. One is Amplify for business books. They have Real Clear Publishing for politics, and they have 2 other titles that we don't work with. But my animator, my lead animator, does the graphic that you saw at the beginning with the 3 bars rising. So we wanted to make it like a little movie. So we have brought to you by, and in Mark's case, it was his own imprint, Dashiell City Press. We try to add a movie-like experience at the very beginning for 3 seconds, and then usually go to voiceover and lots. Sometimes this next one we're doing some headshot videos, because he's a known public speaker, the guy we're working with, and it's great because his son is a rock musician. He's composing the music for us. So I'm just thinking out loud. So I was at a National Speakers Association conference, at the annual conference up in Orlando, and I just drove up because it was a 3-hour drive. And I'm just thinking out loud, a couple of things. I think a lot that may be a good market for you, because these are people who usually write books, and they're kind of marketing savvy. So, they like book trailers, and, it's not just for their book, but it's an asset for them that they can reuse. I'm just thinking out loud. You showed that to me, so I thought that's a great idea. That's a really great idea, Ron, because I ghost wrote a book for the former president of the NSA. And he and I have talked often about other things and other projects. This would be thanks. I'll make a note. Yeah, and then at the NSA conference, there was a bunch of different type of book publishers that you could probably network with. They were like, they had a whole booth, and they were like, it didn't catch my attention, but there were like 4 or 5 of them that you could be a great add-on partnership, whatever, with them. So I would look at that. So both direct, and these guys are, they're marketing savvy. So they're like, oh yeah, I need a little, they all have sizzle reels and
of
course, a bunch of other stuff.
Absolutely. You guys definitely should connect afterwards, and
if you know those public, Krista.
And Krista has a question or a suggestion or something.
I have a question. I wanted to know how much more shareable are these types of professional trailers over just kind of your typical DIY social media video?
It doesn't depend on the platform. Somebody can do a good book trailer on their own. What we tend to do is avoid explaining what the book is all about. If you over explain the book, they'll say, oh, I get it, and then they'll move on. But if the first question I ask when I interview an author or their publisher is, what are 3 questions that the book answers, if it's a business book? And then my team will go to town with, so how do we ask those questions in an entertaining or creative way? So yeah, the difference is not in the cost. The difference is in the approach, in my opinion.
Love it. Well, thank you. That was great. Very entertaining.
Especially the mystery book was just so much fun. My lead on that one said, "Can we do more of those, please?"
Yeah. I grew up with Harlan Coben, but I think he's got other, he's got budgets beyond
for sure.
and resources that he's not going to worry about, the $2,000 version. But this might have piqued his interest, 30
Back
years
in the
ago
day.
when he was just getting started.
Okay.
Who's that, Michael, by the way, that you said?
Harlan Coben. He's a
Who's
mystery writer. He's a very successful mystery writer. He's gotten a few movies. He writes about Livingston, New Jersey, where I grew up, and the surrounding area. Suburban mysteries, right? But first, why would anybody want to live in suburbia? That was the first mystery. Yeah, just kidding. I now live in suburbia again. So by the way, I forgot to introduce our 2 guests, and for the benefit of those guests, and this is the Trusted Referral Network. We're a network of, I'm not sure how many people, because if you look at how many people we had who were on the trial, it was about 180. Some of those people are joining full time as paid members. I hope more will, because that's the way we're going to keep this thing alive. But we get together weekly. Clearly, not all of the 180 people show up. This would be a much busier screen. But we do have an intimate group, usually with some regulars like John Parsons and Rajiv, and of course myself, and some people who come occasionally, and always welcome, Krista, Alex, Ron. And now we have a couple of guests today, including Madeline Schwarz and David Hoffman. So welcome. David was in a group that I started called the Marketing Network in New York for a period of time, and even led that group. He runs a podcast production company, very successful podcast production company. I'll tell you more about it. Madeline, I'm probably going to get it wrong, but you do coaching, is that correct?
Yeah. So I help people develop the single most important skill in business and life, which is communication skills.
Communications coach, and right, I remember that. And I think we did we do something on was it selling for introverts or something?
Networking
for introverts. And I think I have that recorded on the YouTube channel. I do know that some people are time constrained. Alex said he's got to leave at 1:15. So the next part of our meeting is just going around the horn. Everybody gets 2 to 3 minutes or 1.5 minutes, depending on how many people show up, to introduce themselves, what they do, how they can help others, what they're looking for. I always recommend that you say something that will help you stand out, and help people remember you, whether it doesn't necessarily have to be related to your work. And I'm going to put in the chat the order in which people showed up, more or less. I am going to start with Alex, because he does have to leave. But there we go. Alex, Rajiv, Lori, Krista, David, Ron, Madeline, and then I will go at the end. I don't think I left anybody off, right? And I'll put on, let's say, we've got plenty of time. I'll put in a 3-minute timer. You don't need to use up all that time. If everybody would go on mute other than the speaker, I'd appreciate it because I'm going to go into the speaker mode. So Alexander Acker, take it away.
Thanks, Mike. Hi, I'm Alex, president of Adventuralis, an animation agency. Like my screen shows up here, we create animated, motion graphic, and video content to help companies improve marketing campaign results, stand out on social media, promote the features of an app, or even show how a solution works to capture the hearts, minds, and wallets of their prospective customers. I am looking for introductions to other agencies that have clients that they could white label my services, marketing people at companies, and I'm looking specifically for introductions to banks. We work with a lot of local and global banks to help them get increased results in sales of new products, onboarding new customers, as well as increasing usage of products and services to existing clients. I'm married, live in Long Island, drive a Tesla, and I have 10 guitars around me. So thank you very much, and nice to see you all.
And guitars. Tell us more. Is it all acoustic, electric, a mix?
It's all electric, my friend.
I only have 6, so you have me beat.
Well, right before the pandemic, it was 2. So
have you been playing or just collecting more?
No, both. I mean, I play. I mean, I don't play in the band. I spend 10 to, you know, as a business owner, we all know your first love is your company. It has to be for it to succeed. So if I didn't have the company, I would definitely play a lot more, but I try to play every day if I can.
Oh, that's so cool. All right. Well, maybe you should jam with David at some point.
Well, we do have a one-to-one schedule now for next week. So we'll jam over Zoom.
So Alex does great work. You know, he's done work for the name that stands out of my mind is Citibank, and been doing work for Citibank forever, right?
We had them as a client. Oh my God, this is my third networking group of the day. They have been a client for over 6 years. Yes.
Wonderful.
Are they a direct client? Do you work with BBDO or Havas?
No, they are one-to-one. We've been working with them straight for over 5, 6, 7 years. We have about 20 active jobs with them currently.
Nice.
All right. And Rajiv, why don't you continue? Take it away.
Awesome. Yeah, so as you can see from my Zoom background, I'm an assassin for hire. Yes, you heard that right. You read that right. Why do you need an assassin? Well, because there's a lot of misinformation and false information floating around the internet that is painting you as the villain. And guess what? People believe that. And that's why you need an assassin to erase all that junk from the internet, all those scandalous thoughts that people are believing about you, your person, your company, your organization, and then they're choosing to not work with you. And that's serious. And that's where we come in. So we erase scandal from Google. We erase pretty much anything that needs to be erased from the internet, whether that be a tweet or a video or a 1-star review on Google My Business or any place else. Success guaranteed or your money back. My ask to this group is for other people in marketing, since the bulk of my business comes from other marketing agencies, specifically digital marketing agencies. That's where I've gotten the most perfect synergies from. In fact, many TRN members do white label my service, and that's like a beautiful, beautiful relationship. And I'm looking for more. So if they're basically companies that do websites, search engine optimization, social media marketing, content creation, those are pretty good introductions for me. We have in the past worked with a few public relations companies, but it seems to be mostly internet marketing agencies that we have the best synergy with. So introductions there would be greatly appreciated. And also outside of that, we also have a product launch software called Lily Launch Tools that helps companies organize their go-to-market strategy in a visual, accessible, interactive, two-dimensional way. It's basically in the ghost hierarchy, and that helps you launch better, faster, and smoother because now you can actually see your strategy. More so, your team sees the strategy as well, has a clear understanding of it, and has a crystal clear idea of what to do and when to do it. And that's what Lily Launch Tools enables. So I'll put the details in the chat. Please take it for a test drive. We're offering a 30-day free trial, no credit card needed. And we've been told that the product works beautifully. It's really easy to use, unlike competitors. You don't need to watch any tutorials or anything for it. What was that, Alex? What was that, Alexander?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I guess I'm not on mute.
Oh, okay.
I just coughed actually. And Lily is spelled Lylli.
Yes, Lylli, launchtools.com. And also, if you're a pet owner, please upload your picture on lilylaunchtools.com/tapostry. We're celebrating pethood, and it's a way for us to engage with the community in a more personal, fun way. So please check that out as well. Thanks.
Yeah, I put that in the.
I will. Yeah.
I have lots of pictures of my adorable dog, so I'd be happy to put
Awesome.
at least one up. All right, Lori Karpman, take it away.
Thank you. Excuse me. I'm Lori Karpman. I have two businesses. The business that brings me to this group is a professional copywriting practice. So I've been writing since I was 9 years old. I started a school newspaper in grade 4. I've always had the love of writing. I'm actually a recovering attorney. And the reason that I became a lawyer is because the skill set is writing and speaking. And those are my two, what I think are my best skill sets. So I write for business. I write any kind of copy that a business would need, anything from websites, blogs, email drip campaigns, brochures, speeches, video scripts. So any kind of business writing, any kind of copy that you need to convert. So that's the kind of stuff I do. I write copy that converts. My best referral sources are other marketers, marketing agencies, graphic designers, because they will typically, graphic designer will do the design, but they don't do the copy, or webmasters may do the web design, but they don't do the copy. And so now I've been able to hook up with some web designers who can now say that they're full service because they now offer the copy and the programming at the same time. My other business, really quickly, is a franchise. I have a management consulting firm and I specialize in franchising and licensing. That's what I've been doing for 40 years. My copywriting is my passion business and my retirement plan. So I've put my contact information in the chat further up, and would love to have a one-on-one with anyone who'd like to speak with me. Thank you.
So is your consulting for franchises, is it for buyers, potential buyers, or for owners?
Yeah, my clients are companies that want to franchise. So I take the business, we're full service. We do legal, financial, operations, marketing, and sales. So we set businesses up as franchises.
I see. Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, Krista Giannak.
Who trusts you and why? Fun little fact. I'm a ghostwriter, blogger, speaker. Oh, by the way, an amateur skier who just happens to be blind. Many of you know this already. I recognize that. What you may not realize is that because I used to shy away from my personal story, because I used to be, like my clients, I used to be concerned about bearing my soul or sharing my weaknesses right up front. Here's the thing. People tell stories about us, whether we want them to or not. We might as well influence the stories they tell. We might as well use our stories and our knowledge to build trust and boost credibility. That's why when marketing professionals bring me on or refer to me for ghostwriting, blogging, other web content, and some other writing services that fit along those lines, They do so because they want someone focusing on the trust factor. We focus on search engine optimization a lot. And how about story optimization? We focus on conversion a lot. And also, how about credibility? I am a ghostwriter and blogger that focuses on telling your story, your knowledge in your voice. I'm also the president of World of Difference Virtual Toastmasters Club. We're having an open house on the 27th about the power of effective feedback. Many of us hire others, work with others, so it's important. Feedback is an important skill, whether or not you ever decide to become a speaker or a Toastmaster. Krista Giannak, Wise Words That Matter.
So do you want to put that in the chat, the
I
open
will.
house? Yeah, wonderful. And when is that?
That is just September 27th on a Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern.
September 27th. Wonderful. Okay. Thank you so much. David Hoffman, take it away.
That's me. Hi. David Hoffman. I own and run a company called Citizen Race Car. We are a multimedia production company based here in the New York City area, but my team is all over the country. We have developed a particular niche, as Michael mentioned, in producing high-end audio storytelling, which generally takes the form of podcasting. So we'll be brought in by large nonprofit organizations, government agencies, corporations who are interested in entering the podcasting space, either because they think it will be a good piece of content marketing for them, and or because they have an educational mission that they're trying to fulfill. And we'll create NPR quality podcast series, which might be an interview show, it might be a documentary. We've done a little bit of radio drama. We've done all kinds of things. And we're full service with that. People are coming to us with at different stages of the process. Either they have an existing stream of content that they want to turn into a podcast. They have a podcast series that they've started making, but they're struggling either with the technical aspects or finding out that it's more work than they thought it was going to be, and we take over and streamline things for them. Or some organizations are saying, we have this pile of information, we want to convey it to this audience, go. And we figure out how to do that. And we come up with the concepts, we write the scripts, we book the talent, we do the recordings, we do editing, we do original music and sound design, and we create social assets for promoting those shows, audiograms, things like that. Yeah, so ways, referrals I'd love to have. Large nonprofit organizations, generally over $100 million annual budget, things like that. Corporations, government agencies who are interested in getting into podcasts, those are great referrals for us. We'd love to talk to them about that. We also have a new educational program that we just started this year, where we are, through a client of ours called New York Edge, we are going into after-school classrooms around the 5 boroughs and teaching kids how to do audio storytelling and how to create their own podcasts. That's going really, really well. It's been really exciting for us. We have, this cadre of coaches who are all audio professionals who go and teach this curriculum that we've developed. And we're looking to expand that program to other organizations, also other cities. So if anyone has contacts in the educational space, in after school, non-traditional education, either in New York or particularly out of it, those are people I'd love to meet and love to pitch this program to. So there's a lot of information, but it's glad to meet everybody and happy to answer questions.
So are you familiar with Pencil? It's an organization.
Pencil, yeah.
Yeah, they started with the Principle for a Day, which connects corporations to high schools or corporate executives to high schools in New York City. So they might be interested in learning more about the program that you have.
Beautiful.
And, might want to do their own podcast or something about it, or, the work that they do.
I'd love to talk to them. That's great. Thank you,
Okay,
Alex, even though you left, for the kind words in the chat.
All right. Cool. Thank you so much. And thank you for your post in Facebook. It amused me anyway.
Mm-hmm. My pleasure.
Yeah. Ron Hubsher.
Thanks, everyone. Has anyone gotten a call on a deal you thought you won and the client calls you up and asks for a discount on a really steep one? And now you're kind of in a bind because you're sort of forecasting that deal and you're like looking at the money coming in. And now you're kind of like not sure what to do. Do you give them the discount? Do you just roll and cave? Do you push back hard and risk losing the deal? Well, we make sure that never happens to you. I'm Ron Hubsher. I run a negotiation training company. And we work with everything we do is business to business sales. So that's what we do. And so if you need any help negotiating for this group, happy to help anybody on a pro bono basis. We typically work with SaaS companies or any business to business sales organization. That's it. And then I had to sort of ask for the group. I don't know, but over the years, this is just an aside thing. I've collected a whole bunch of domain names. Like every time I think of something that'd be funny, and if it's available or kind of interesting or available, I register it. I think my favorite is Schmuckology. I was sitting at a business meeting and going, this guy's a complete schmuck. This is just an example. And I go, I wonder what the study of schmucks would be. And I go, it would be Schmuckology, just sort of as an example. So I just went, oh, that's a cool domain name. So I have some cool and non-cool domain names. I don't know whether it's worth to sell them or not. But I was thinking if anybody knows anybody who sells domain names, that'd be good to know because I have like probably 100 or I don't know what. But
Ron,
I figure, yeah,
you can actually list them for sale on GoDaddy, and you can also contact GoDaddy who will sell them on your behalf. And it's a completely performance deal. You don't need to pay them anything. They'll go to various people and they'll give you back deals, and you can then agree or not agree. It's real easy.
That's really easy. So just go to GoDaddy and they have a reseller site. Okay, cool. Thank you, Assassin.
Yeah,
they've got huge reach. They've got huge reach because that's the site everybody goes to see if the domain's available, and then it lists it as what
it's available to sale. Yeah.
Okay. I probably won't sell Schmuckology, but I'm saving that one for like one day.
Know, Ron. You never know.
In retirement, I will say, who's the schmuck of the day?
Right.
It's me.
I think it's great. I think you've got a wonderful opportunity there with the political atmosphere the way it is today.
I thought there were so many ways. I just didn't have the time to really go into it. But I thought, wow, this could be even bigger than my business. But I just don't have the foresight to go through it. But
yeah, no, it's in the news. I can name just a few in the news every day. Just today.
Yeah, right. Today.
Somehow our president's going to be impeached soon. Anyway. Moving on, Madeline Schwarz, second to last but not least, the penultimate.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Madeline. I'm a communication coach. I work with employees and teams to develop communication skills because it's the one skill that touches every area of life and makes everything else easier. And my mission is to make communication more fun and easy. And so I use lots of props like this, which is a Hoberman sphere, and really makes communication more colorful and shows people how your skills need to expand and contract for the situation. Also use things like this, which is a custom-made fortune teller, and unlike the ones that you made in grade school, this one helps you do things that are far more useful, like develop collaborative conversations and teach people how to ask better questions to get better answers. And good introductions for me are to people managers and creative professionals who want to be more effective at leading their teams and give presentations that don't suck. And just a quick story, like I worked with a managing director at an equity firm who hired me for the first time when she was speaking on a panel in front of 200 clients with 4 partners and just had a lot of anxiety about public speaking. And so we worked on all areas of that presentation. And then the second time we worked together, she was leading a pitch, a new business pitch for the company. She was normally more of a background person on the pitches, but they were pitching to a women's institution. She was the most senior woman on the team. So she was leading that. And from the work that we did together, their pitch team won a piece of business worth $250 million.
Wow.
To charge a percentage.
So that's the power of communication.
There you go. Wonderful. And I can't remember where I met Madeline, but she's definitely the presence on social media and in the networking world, in marketing networking world in the New York area, certainly.
Oh, and I forgot, I host a regular LinkedIn audio show. So I do 2 audio rooms per month on different areas of communication. And the next one is September 26th. And if we connect on LinkedIn, I'll put my LinkedIn in the chat. I would love to invite everyone to
Yes,
join me.
everybody should put their LinkedIn, by the way, information in the chat. And I'll encourage folks to download that. I see John Parsons' hand raised. I was wondering if he was reminding us to download the chat, although it's a little early. John, you have something to say?
No, you've been well trained in reminding people of that. So that wasn't my question. But my question was for Madeline. It's been an age since I've seen one of those spheres. Could you back up and show everybody what it's like when you expand it?
Sure.
It's
Yeah,
fun.
they get huge.
So I love to use these in workshops because it helps people really breathe and slow down their pacing when you put something in their hands when they're telling a story. And so it reminds people what your body needs to do to expand and contract your diaphragm, to protect your voice. And again, just introduces a play and color to the process of communication because it can bring up so much anxiety for people.
And when you spin it, the centripetal force makes it expand.
Right.
If you have in a big room and you throw it up and spin it, it does that by itself. Yeah, I love those.
Neat. By the way, I just was on a call with somebody who's got a technology that measures your level of stress from voice samples. I wonder if that's helpful for public speaking, to sort of quantify, you can see how stressed you are in the beginning, and then maybe over time, how that stress level goes down.
So say that again, it measures your level of stress from voice.
Voice samples. In other words, you talk for 20 seconds and it tells you how stressed you are.
There are AIs that use that technology or something like it to, ideally, when you're in a conversation with a chatbot, when it detects a certain level of stress, it knows to transfer you over to a human.
Wow.
But that's only if you do it right, because a lot of bots are programmed to ignore you or do stupid answers.
Right. That's interesting, Michael, because in my experience, I think calling more attention to the things that stress people out is actually not helpful. Like, people are very aware of their stress levels and anxiety if they're not very comfortable public speaking. And so one of the things that I focus on a lot is techniques to lower your stress and anxiety so that you can calm down your nerves and still maintain your presence when you have to speak under pressure.
Yeah, I guess what I'm getting at is that you could, record somebody and say, okay, you were clearly at a 7, but after my training, now you're down to a 3. I don't know. Anyway, I'd be happy to make that intro if you think it's interesting. Did I miss anybody, by the way? If not, then I will put on the timer for myself. My name is Michael Bendit, as you know, and my core business, other than running this networking group, is I do sales for about a dozen software development teams. So I like to be known, the company is called Software Development Resources. I like to be known as the software development resource, the person to go to if you've got a need for software development, be it for a website, e-commerce site, a mobile application, or whatnot. The challenge, of course, is finding the right team for what the client needs. And that the needs generally revolve around the technology. So they may come with a set of technologies they need to work with, maybe because their site or their application is already built on that and they need to continue working on it, or they want to scrap it all together and move to a new platform. Budget is another one. Clearly, you can do this on the cheap, you know, at $20 or less an hour if you go straight to India. But there are challenges with that. There are ways to manage and reduce your costs, particularly with what I call dual shore groups. So those are teams that have a couple of people here in the US and then leverage offshore resources on their team. I do a lot of work with my dual shore teams. And then, you know, there's the potential functional expertise, right? Sometimes people want somebody who's got experience in, you know, building a particular type of site, right? Or an industry within an industry. So those, and of course, availability, that sort of thing. So those are the things that I juggle, matching the expertise, availability, budget, with the teams that I have, the dozen teams that I have. So been doing this for about a dozen years. I love meeting other digital agencies like many of you here. I white label, or we white label our services. Many of our clients, our best partners, are in fact digital agencies that build websites. They just can't build all the ones that they have, you know, for which they have opportunities. And so they outsource some of that work, or it's a platform they're not familiar with. So they need somebody else who has that skill set. So great intros for me are those digital marketing agencies, web designers who prefer to design, not build, or come across an opportunity where it's just too complex, but they don't want to turn it down because they know they can design it. They're just not sure they can build it. So those are really good connections for me. And I will leave it at that. Maybe I'll launch just an interesting story. My first job, I worked in the semiconductor industry for a company that made equipment that went into the front end. So the what they call the fab side, a clean room. So I had to wear what I call the bunny suit, which is basically a clean room suit to go in and fix the machines that we sold. So that's one of my, you know, two truths and a lie. Yeah, that's one of the truths, that I wore a bunny suit in my first job. All right, let's switch it back to gallery
Pictures.
mode. What's that?
We got to see pictures. You got the bunny suit.
Yeah,
You can't tease us with a story of a bunny suit.
All right, I know.
Didn't have ears.
Not deliver, man.
It didn't have ears, but it had feet. It had feet. You had to cover your shoes, right?
He had Rajiv scrub all that stuff from the web. So
yeah,
it's
exactly.
gone,
I probably should have. Yeah, it was. Yeah, you know, you look like you're wearing one of those bunny suits. And now it's even more so, right? They've got the glass, almost you look like you're in space, because the clean rooms have gotten even that much cleaner.
So, Michael, you realize that you're wanting us, like, now we really have to see it. You're kind of like amping it up so much.
I don't think I have a picture of myself. I was working in Japan most of that time, and of course, Japan doesn't know anything about cameras. No, I don't know why I don't have any pictures. But or maybe I'd have to dig back into the archives, but it would probably be a printed picture, right? You know, I don't think they allowed you. First of all, they didn't allow you to take cameras into the clean room. It was very proprietary, you know, their processes.
Sure.
All right, good. So thank you all. It's only 3 minutes of. I'll give you your 3 minutes back. Now, I'm going to follow up with Lori and Rajiv as new advisors to the chapter structure. If anybody else wants to help out with that, happy to have them have their input. If anybody is having difficulty, if their membership has expired, it's time to belly up to the bar. And it's $360 for a year. And I think I had in my last email described, or my last invite described how to do that. I will no longer be including in the invites, the weekly invites, people who do not have a current membership. So that's another sort of hint, perhaps a negative hint, but I do the best I can. Thank you all for coming.
Hey, Michael, I got a question.
Yes.
For you. So you mean for less than $1 a day, I get to get access to this network?
Less than $1 a day.
5 days free.
I
That's it. You
spend
get
more
five-
than that in Starbucks coffee in a week, in a month, man.
Exactly.
There you go. It's all
exactly.
about perspective, isn't it?
It's like it's virtually free, man.
Yeah,
There
it's
you
right.
Exactly. I
Less
think
than $1 a
Ron
day.
in that group
Hey,
is
thanks
Ron
everybody. I gotta go.
excited
All
about
right.
the-
Take care, John. Thanks so much
Hey,
for doing
Reggie,
the showcase.
No worries.